Grandville is a city located in Kent County in the state of Michigan with a population of over 15,000 people. Grandville is located southwest of the city of Grand Rapids. It was first settled in 1833, but was later incorporated as a city in 1933.
Do you know when the school was built?
Yes, it was 1887. There were enough families that have moved into the area that the dads and moms say our kids need to learn. They need a school. So the dads got together and they built this building. Yeah, and it used to be a half mile down the road off of 44th and Wilson. There's a small hill there and there's still the creek there. And that's where this building was until 1958, when it was no longer a school. Now in 1938, there were more people moving in and they made it into a 2-room building. So that's why you have a wall and then another room back there. So it was really a 1-room school became a 2-room school.
Okay.
And so that's what happened.
Okay, and do you know why it was like shut down? Was it?
Well, because more and more people moved in and there were too many people. And so they built the elementary schools and they then had enough kids for 1st, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th grade instead of one building holding 1st through 8th grade.
Okay, and then like how would you compare schools from back then, like especially this school, to like schools nowadays?
I'm not sure what you mean by comparison, because I just compared to what I taught and the way I taught back in the 70s.
Yeah.
And you could be sterner and stricter. And it was much more intense because the teacher realized some of these kids, I may have them only this year.
Yeah.
Well, my grandmother's an example. She only went to about 4th grade in a 1-room school. So the teacher knew that she had to get everything taught as seriously and as much as possible. Because this may be your last year in school. And then it's done because you have to go on the farm and help work. So it was much more intense. And you look at some of the reading books, and I know for a fact that the 2nd graders today could not read what the 2nd graders were reading back then. Because I'm looking at these books and going, oh my goodness. It was much more intense. It had to be.
Yeah. Okay. Like, what's the importance of the school and why, like, is it important that we have this today, like here today?
It's part of history.
Yeah.
It's history.
Yeah.
And that's why you need to know the history of things. You need to know the background.
Yes.
And this is part of Grandville's history. And I am on the historical commission. So that's why it's important.
Okay.
It's part of history. This is what your great-grandparents went through. They went through 1-room schoolhouses. Right across the street, they went to this school. And Richard and David Dean, David was in charge of the burn barrel because you'd burn your trash. And the rule was don't go by the burn barrel. Stay away, don't mess around. Well, Richard tells me it was a rather windy day and he and David were messing around and some of the flaming paper got blew out and started the field on fire. So they're out there trying to put out this fire and it's not going out. The teacher rang the bell and Richard ran in. Dean yelled after him, no, don't. And Richard's saying, hey, she rang the bell, I gotta go in. So they left him out there alone. Well, the teacher didn't notice at first that David was still missing. Now, David came in at one point in time and got the fire extinguisher and ran out to try to put out the fire. Still couldn't put it out. And the teacher finally, well, where's David? The kids point to the window and the field's on fire. So they called the fire brigade. And Richard tells me that he missed recess for a month. Now that's the worst thing that could happen to a farm kid. Because you want to go to school, because you're with your friends, you're not doing chores, and you get to do recess. So he said for 1 month he had to sit at the table, and recess punishments were this. You sat there, you didn't move a muscle. And as you're sitting there, you hear the windows open, and you hear your friends outside playing recess, and you're